No,
Oh, give me a break.
No, because I'm listening to you.
Okay.
We are our own gods in our own universe.
Is that a truth claim?
Like, why Christianity over other religions?
I can promise you, sir, if you die and rise from the dead, I will listen very carefully to everything you have to say. But I don't appreciate it when people say, you're the only one out here, Cliff, making truth claims. You're making truth claims as well as me. You're making truth claims as well as me. Let's be honest. And let's not act like, oh no, it's just the Christian who makes truth claims. No, we all make truth claims.
No, I'm just saying you're more closed-minded, I think. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just presenting my viewpoint. I think you're more closed-minded because you can only choose one religion.
Yeah, you're the only one making truth claims of like that nature because you're the only one making truth claims that dictate how other people should live their lives.
So you're saying that Jews who don't believe that Jesus was like a prophet, and that people who believe that Muhammad was the prophet, you're saying that they're wrong. That's a pretty bold statement.
If the atheist speaks the truth, I am wrong. If the Muslim speaks the truth, if Muhammad spoke the truth, I am wrong. If Siddhartha Gautama Buddha spoke the truth, I am wrong. Right?
Sure.
Okay. If Jesus Christ spoke the truth, then I'm going to heaven, because he promised eternal life to all who trusted in him. So, sir, let's be real honest. Pardon?
Do you trust Jesus?
I trust Jesus. But, sir, let's be real honest. Every time anybody makes a truth claim, I don't care if you're an atheist, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, that means whatever contradicts that truth claim is wrong. So, obviously, then the question becomes, who are you going to trust to tell you the truth about God? Who are you going to trust to tell you the truth about heaven? Who are you going to trust to tell you the truth about the way to heaven? And I'm standing here saying, the reason that I think it's wise to trust Jesus Christ is because the historical evidence of the way he lived, the content of his ethical teaching, Robert Coles, the psychology professor at Harvard, pointed out, all the writings on ethics over the past 2,000 years are simply footnotes to the Sermon on the Mount. Ethical brilliance in the Sermon on the Mount. Exactly. The majority of my friends are materialists. The majority of my friends live for money. And I can promise you, sir, my friends are good at it. My friends are in Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Wall Street, and I promise you, sir, they are good at it. I am convinced to put your faith ultimately in materialism and making money is an incredibly empty life. Are there perks? Oh, yes, there are. Are there benefits? Yes, there are. Am I saying that money is evil? No, money's good. The Bible teaches that repeatedly. But to live for money, which is what the majority of my friends live for, wow, what a mistake.
Why Christianity over other religions?
Because the evidence is Jesus Christ is reliable in a way that none of the options are.
So Muhammad isn't reliable?
Not in the same way that Jesus is, correct. I have respect for Muhammad. He taught one of his 5 pillars, give alms to the poor. I respect that highly. So I respect that part of what he taught. But to trust Muhammad to give me the truth about God, in light of the way he lived his life, in light of the internal contradictions in the Quran, I could never do that. I'd have to part company with my brain. I can't do that.
So you can't have a brain and believe in Muhammad?
I personally am convinced that there are so many logical inconsistencies in what Muhammad taught that for me to follow him would be I'd have to cut off my mind.
Like what?
Like what? All right. Muhammad lived from 570 to about 632 AD. So obviously he never met Jesus. Right? He lives 500 years after, or more than 500. Right. But the eyewitnesses, those who met Jesus, Matthew, Mark, John, Peter, James, insisted Jesus claimed to be God. Now, Muhammad has a great deal of respect for Jesus, but he says Jesus is just a good teacher. He denies his deity. That's impossible. That's the one option about Jesus you can't take. Because clearly Jesus claimed to be God, which means he's either a false teacher or else he is who he claimed to be. He's not this middle ground option that Muhammad chose, which is, wow, great teacher, great prophet from God? No, because Jesus claimed to be God. He's either a blasphemer or else he spoke the truth. Well, one gospel says there was one angel in an empty tomb. Another gospel says there were 2 angels. There's a contradiction. If one gospel said there was only one angel at the empty tomb, and another gospel said there were 2, 3, 4, or 5, then you'd have a contradiction. It is not a contradiction for me to say, I spoke to one man, I spoke to over 100 people. Because my perspective at one point, yes, I was speaking to one gentleman. And obviously I did speak to over 100 people. So you have different perspectives. You and I standing on the street corner down there in Guadalupe. We see two cars come together. We hear a woman scream, and there's a screech of brakes, and there's a collision. So the police haul us into the office and say, what'd you see? And you say, well, officer, I saw these two cars coming down the street. I heard a screech of brakes, and there was a collision. I say, officer, I saw the two cars coming down the street. I heard a woman scream, and there was a collision. Are we contradicting each other? No. We're giving two different but equally valid perspectives. There was a screech of brakes, there was a woman screaming, and there was a collision. You include one detail that I don't include, I include one detail you don't include. It's not a contradiction. So yes, sir, you have that in the Gospels. You have different perspectives on Jesus. Just because someone's sincere doesn't make their belief true, right? It's a great point you bring up. If I sincerely believe in thin ice, when I walk out on that ice, what's going to happen? I'm going through, right?
If it's thin.
If it's thin. If I have sincere faith in thin ice, when I walk out on that thin ice, baby, I'm going through. I don't care how deep my faith is. I don't care how sincere my faith is. So what that tells me is the validity of faith is not determined by its passion or its sincerity. It's determined by the credibility of the object that you believe in. So in other words, if I have a little bit of faith in thick ice, I walk out on that thick ice, I'm cool. I'm not going through. Because the object of my faith is reliable. So you're absolutely right. For you to believe in Jesus because I'm passionate would be a foolish decision. You've got to read the New Testament Gospels, study it yourself, and ask yourself, does the evidence of the way he lived, taught, died, and rose from the dead point to his credibility, or does it not?